Kia ora, everybody. Welcome to the Unable Seaman podcast, the podcast designed to take a light-hearted look at all things boating and fishing in New Zealand. I'm your host, Jake Kerr, and joining me once again is my first mate, best mate, Christian Jensen. How are you, my friend?
Not bad, mate, not bad. And what, am I your best dressed guest?
Yeah, you really are. You're my only guest, so it's in a
One
competition of none. We always say this. I don't even know why I introduced you like that. You should just be co-host, really.
No, I'm cool to be guest. It's sort
You're
of
cool
like
to be guest.
my girlfriend.
Yeah. Bro, we have got a lot to get through today. Really exciting episode. First of all, you've got a new boat. Second of all, you've finally been on my new boat, the Rayglass. We've had some fantastic training with Andrew from Powerboat Training, who was on our podcast last time. We actually went and had a great session. And you went to the KP Marine Big Day Out, I suppose it was called, Marine Expo.
Boating Expo, yeah.
Boating Expo, and met Isabel from Certes Boats. So plenty to talk.
Mig from Fishing and Adventure.
Mig from Fishing and Adventure. Of course, how can I forget our good mate Mig?
Yep.
So plenty to dissect, but let's get into the real juicy stuff, the real meat and drink. Christian Jensen, you have a new boat. Tell the listeners what it is.
Well, I'm going to say something, and a couple of the men out there with long-time partners will cringe. I somehow managed to talk Chelsea into letting me buy a new boat without selling my old one.
I've done that as well. It's a skill that not all men have, but you and I have clearly perfected it.
Yeah. Do I advise it? I don't know. It depends. If you can afford it. Actually, I can't. So
depends how long the other one hangs around for.
Yeah.
For me, it was almost a year with the Bayliner.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm going to swap my boat around, my old one, the Sea Nymph. We should do a plug for that too, by the way, because you've been on it. You give it heaps of shit, but you also rate it at the same time.
Yep, look, if you are keen on a boat, it is. I'll give it as a good little boat. We actually did a review on it on our YouTube channel, so head over to @UnableSeaman at YouTube, and you'll see us taking it out to Hunter's Bank. So it can survive that mission. It is a great little boat, good little two-stroke on the back. But anyway, you've teased it enough. What's the new one?
So, well, one of our guests on the fishing trip that we did recently, one of our listeners that joined us, guessed, didn't he?
He did.
He guessed.
He did guess.
Now, who was that special guest? Who was that special guest?
That was my cousin, little David. So, kia ora, bro. If you're listening, I know you do listen on the job site there. So, hey, mate, can you get back to work? Would Kelly do some work today?
So anyway, David.
He guessed it second guess.
He did. Benito. A Benito 151. So
Benito 151. Oh,
so if all the listeners out there, type it in, have a look at it. It's not your new Benito, so it's not sexy. Chelsea jumped in it and described it as, oh yeah, I can see the potential.
Yep, like a doer-upper.
Doer-upper. It's how do you describe it? She's about 16 foot. The pros, it's got a cabin, it's got a big bench seat at the back. Now it's got new upholstered front seats. It's got a Yami F100 four-stroke on the back, so well overpowered.
And cool, four-stroke. That's a big tick.
Yeah, big tick, eh? And the cuddy cabin at the front's a big tick. Like when we first took it out, naturally on your first voyage out with your family and your 1.5-year-old, you go over the Foxton Bar, the Manawatu River Bar.
Yeah, well, I mean, your last boat you bought, you and I took it to D'Urville Island for its maiden voyage, and it started to crack and disintegrate as we came home. So was the maiden voyage a little bit more successful with your family on board?
Like you turn the key and it starts.
Boring.
Floats, and everything on it worked. I was like, oh, this is mint.
This is cool. Now, obviously, we'll post a picture of it. We've kept it off Instagram for now, and that's where we post all the pictures of the boats we talk about. I'll put it on Instagram at Unable Seaman. It'll be live when this episode goes live. I just don't want it to get confused with Dog of the Month, though, because we often post the Dog of the Month boat, and I just don't want the two to get confused. So I'll make sure to label it clearly.
Fuck off! That was low. I'll admit this thing is a bit of a snub-nosed bandit, but I think in terms of bang for buck, you bloody simmer on that comment.
What did you pay for it?
12.
12. Okay. And
now, like, it's what?
How big is it?
16 foot, I reckon. I
Okay.
don't know. They call it 151. I haven't actually measured it. 5 meters
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It's bigger than
And
the
so
sea nymph, but not by much.
you've talked about the 4-stroke, which I think's bloody good to have a 4-stroke. Talk about the
Yep.
trailer, all good?
Trailer's brand new. As of like, I think it was January this year. The guy bought a new one. Like he was a nice guy. I was buying it off.
Yeah.
Big ups the man. He's up in Waikiki Ways in Rotorua, and he was
Yeah.
wanting to upsize to a bigger alley boat to his
So
family.
and you like the layout. You talked about the bench seat. Obviously, it's
Oh,
just
I
a little
love the
bit
bench
bigger
seat
than
at
your
the
last
back.
one.
Yeah, yeah. You just like lounge back, and it's got the full clears and the covers, so you can turn into like a tent, which I thought would be pretty cool. Go away, do a bit of a camping mission on it with Piper.
Nice. I mean, I looked at it, and I'll admit, initially I was shocked. I thought,
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen some ugly boats in my time, but this one definitely was up there. And I was trying to think of a way to sum up the boat, okay? Because I absolutely see the key points that you like about it: the bench seat, the space, and the
Yep.
nice little quiet 4-stroke that just works. And I've thought of this to sum your boat up,
Yep.
okay? It is
Here we
the
go.
Peugeot of the ocean.
Ouch.
The Peugeot of the ocean. No one wants a Peugeot, but I tell you what, they're a good little car that just, you know, they run. I was following a Peugeot yesterday and I thought, God, why would you buy one of them? And I thought,
You're
you
an
know what?
asshole.
Because it just ticks all the boxes. And I think you've done the same with your boating. So congratulations, mate.
Bought a Peugeot.
You've reached boating mediocrity.
You bad man. Okay, okay. But hey, it's I I sold Chelsea the dream, and I said, hey, let's put aside 1,500, 2 grand to like make it our own. Do the flooring, do the upholstery. And I think I've decided let's call that more like 4 to 5 grand.
Already a blowout.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's no such thing as a cheap boat. I found out. Hey, like the new trailers mint. That's cool. Some funky stuff going on there that needs to be done. Um, Motor is good. The previous owner didn't notice that the trim tilt thing, like you trim it up and then it just like it's like a droopy old man and it slowly comes down again.
It needs a bit of Viagra.
Yeah, and that's actually not a cheap fix. But I'm not going to hit up the guy. He seemed pretty genuine. But here, get the costs here, right? So I took it in, and the guy goes, "Oh, that's had a hard time that trim tilt." I was like, "Oh, okay. What do they cost? Like 400?" He just laughed. I was like, "Oh, okay." It's $1,000 for a second-hand unit, not guaranteed to work. It's $1,500 for a rebuild. May need more parts and may cost more, or 3,500. And all those prices aren't including installing. So $3,500 for a brand new Yemi one.
Jeez, man. However, you've managed to dodge a bullet, as we were just talking about off air. So tell the listeners your stroke of genius / luck.
Oh, luck, all right. So I was just got back from talking to the guys at KP Marine, which we'll talk about later, the expo, from the boat mechanic, and I was on Marketplace, and this Yami F100 pops up on Marketplace for $1,200, and I thought mint, and this motor is
It's the whole
whole
engine,
engine,
isn't it? Yeah.
whole engine, yeah, 20-inch shaft, whatever. Mine's 25, but that doesn't matter. It's had some corrosion issues on the head, so it doesn't run. Bottom cylinders looks like it's had some water in it at some stage. But the cowlings are better than mine. The key thing is the hydraulic trim tilt, better than mine, and it's got a good prop.
So for
So
$1,200, you've got a spare engine.
yeah, do you know the only thing though? They weigh about 180 kilos. You can't just like, pick it up. Fuck, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it was pissing with rain when I had to put it on the
Oh,
trailer.
classic. Yeah. Why don't you bolt them both to the back and have a twin outboard setup?
Okay, it's already bum heavy right now. Can you imagine if I just go and bolt on another 180 kilos? Like, it will not float.
I can't imagine, but I can imagine you doing it.
Do you want one? It wouldn't take much.
No, I don't want one.
A
I don't
new
want
head on
one.
this one.
But that's
And
cool. That is a novel way of, and if anyone's listening who's got an outboard and having goes to a service agent and gets a price that they think, jeepers, how am I ever going to afford that? Keep an eye out on those second-hand markets. I mean, as you say, that engine's cooked, so it's
worth
probably not
nothing.
going to run again. It's not worth anything to someone else. But to strip it with parts, and now you've got, as you say, spare propeller, spare cowling, spare trim tilt system, all for
More.
$1,200. So it's quite a clever way of going about it. So it's a really good piece of advice to any listeners out there.
Yeah.
Just quickly, also, just when you were looking at that boat, what other sort of key things were you keeping an eye out for someone buying a boat of that age with that sort of budget?
Oh yeah. So okay, so we only know this because we've bumped into it before. So I was lucky that the Sea Nymph was bought off my uncle, and he's owned it from basically new, and it's only ever been used on Lake Tarawera and Lake Taupo. So the Sea Nymph, we won't talk about the Sea Nymph. Radicat though, that Pacific Eagle thing with the at that time it had a 142-stroke Yami on it. What do you look for when you look at one of those, Jake? You look for a warrant and a reg on the trailer. Rust is key. Any signs of painting over? Rust is key. Any signs of odd-looking axle setups is pretty key. Tire wear in odd places. Notice how I'm emphasizing the trailer. Challenging. And then we
Yeah.
look for like structural cracks in the hull from the underside and the top side. Any odd-looking cracks around the place. Maybe the price should be a giveaway. If you're getting a boat that should be worth about 18 grand, 15 to 18, you're paying 5 for it, maybe
Yeah.
someone knows something about this thing.
That is a good piece of advice. Obviously, the outboard too, or whatever the engine is, get it checked out. Check if you can buy a boat that's from the lake area, can be quite good too. Of course.
Oh yeah, because the sea's pretty tough on boats, full stop, and it does take a lot of maintenance when you're in the sea. Whereas
Yeah.
the lake's so much better,
Yeah.
for boats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've rinsed your boat out, and I've called it the Peugeot of the sea, and I think we'll leave it there. I don't think there's
Well, what's her name?
any
What's her name? Juanita.
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 So if you see Juanita out on the Kapiti coast,
HMS
take
Juanita.
take a tow line over and go say hi to Christian.
Oh, you're a bad man. Fuck.
So I'm going to open the floor for you to have a couple of shots back because
Oh, this is unfair.
last weekend
I still haven't got any bad stuff to say about your one.
Well, hey, then buy a better boat. So last weekend you were up, and as we talked about at the start, we did some training with some powerboat training with Andrew Flanagan, which we're going to dive into in a minute. But it was also your first chance to step on board my Grey Glass 2150, and we went out in a pretty challenging day, blowing probably up to 30 knots at times. We went left from Kawakawa Bay out to Gannett Rock, and it was wind, tide, you name it. We were really going for it. Great fun. Some people get a bit uncomfortable in the rough weather. I love it. I love a bit of a challenge. But anyway, talk us through your thoughts on my boat.
So Jake's boat is sort of like, it's comfortable, bloody comfortable. You're out there in stink weather, and you just don't feel unsafe at all. You're just like, oh yeah, we're just punching through, like, I don't know, 3/4 of a meter chop, sweet as. You just idled it back to, like, I don't know, 18 knots, and we just keep punching through this snotty, shitty weather. And I'm just looking around like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be out here in my boat. This is quite nice. Sort of sound like the engine sounds like a ferry motor.
It does.
Just chugs
Yeah.
along.
For those that don't know, it's a stern drive, 4.3 litre V6 Mercruiser, so not an outboard version.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of quite a unique sound, I suppose, quite different to the outboards we normally associate with.
But bloody comfortable. Like, pack in everyone and just go and cruise. And the boat, I would say, the boat's not the event, if I can say, but it gets you there comfortably, and it just makes the experience so nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, that's very kind. You've almost brought a tear to my eye with such kind words.
Okay.
Come on,
But-
you can rinse me on something.
I'll give you some stuff. So his cruising speed is 22 knots.
Oh, yeah, 23, 24 maybe, yeah.
Yarns at 24. I was on it for most of that weekend. I don't think we ever set at 24 for an extended period of time. Your max speed would be 26.
Well, we got a bit more out of it for that 1 second there. Remember, we got up to about 29 for a...
Oh, we might have got 29. Yep.
Yeah.
We might have got 29. So it's certainly not a rocket ship.
Oh, it is not a rocket ship. It makes a whole lot more noise. So it
But
loves to
let's
cruise
go-
in that 22, 24 knots.
It'll do 20 knots basically in most sea states that you'd take any boat out in. That you would be mad enough to take any boat out in.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I felt that several times. And it's sort of, there's almost like zones. If it's really crap, you can drop back to like 18, 15, 18.
No dramas.
No dramas. And then for almost anything, like we came back from Coromandel Harbour once, and there was wind versus tide, and it was yuck. This is on a previous trip, and I just put the throttle, like took off out of Coromandel and left the throttle until we got back to Kawakawa Bay.
Oh,
It's
it is
really,
like that.
yeah.
There's no like in the sea nymph, you've got to sort of ride the swell and on and off the throttle, up and down, da da da. And Juanita is the same too, to be honest. Yours set, forget, chug, blast,
Yeah.
point and shoot, boom,
Way
chickadee
to
boo.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did love the clears all round, so you just like punch through, waves go everywhere, and you're like, oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Warm and dry.
yeah, it's pretty mean. It was actually not too bad on fuel. I think we used, what'd you say? Heaps of boating.
We did a bloody big run. We went Gannett Rock back in the rough, picked up some people, went back to Man of War, and then back. And I think we used 70. Did I say 70 or 90 litres?
I think, well, did I give you like $170 in fuel,
Yeah.
$150, something like that, for like, but there was also another trip after that. That includes my half share.
Yeah, so there was. So yeah, it is pretty good on fuel. But I just love what you've sort of said there, and I'm self-sourcing here because it's my own boat, but it's just so undramatic.
Look, you got your hand on your cock too. You're like,
yeah. It's so undramatic, and that's what I love about it. You feel safe and reassured, and that ray glass hull.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to the factory, and I suppose we can talk about that a little bit too. So at the same weekend, we went. We met with Andrew, who was a fantastic host. He just made us feel so welcome. And we went to the Tamaki boat. Oh, did he what? So he took us into the ray glass factory. He said,
well, no, he's like, oh, we're here at the, now what is that called again? The Tamaki Marine Park?
Yep.
Which is epic. Like when you see those boats on the hard stand and they are 5 or 6 boats high
or something, yeah.
And you just think, far out, that's huge. And then all the facilities they've got there, epic.
Yeah.
You know, all the boat haul out, all the boat cleaning, detailing, servicing, whatever. And Andrew's like, oh, yeah, do you just want to go and catch up with my mate? We'll go catch up with the boats that he builds. He's just saying it so casual. And you're like, what sort of boats? He's like, oh, just the ray glass factory. I'm like, no fucking way, yes. And you got these two boys, I say, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we filmed it, and that's an upcoming video that we'll play. But the thing we can talk about, we weren't allowed to film it, but we can talk about it because it was in their showroom. So
and how good was it?
Was their new model, the 3000? Man, what a boat! What a boat! So to sum up, it's a departure from the looks or that style of the 2800, 2500. It's more of that squarish look that you've seen in the 3500. So you can definitely see that DNA coming down the line, if you like.
I'd say it's their future. It's their future look, isn't it? It's their future, more modern look. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it
beautiful
sexy?
Layout? Oh, it is. It's sexy. It really.
Would you have it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, we've talked on this podcast a lot about the Tristram 821.
I'd have that too.
The other fiberglass boat that's obviously similar size and similar sort of spec, I suppose. And we've definitely got a soft spot for that boat too. They're a brilliant boat, but man, that ray glass, nice. I think if I had a gun to my head, I'd be leaning the ray glass way.
And then we got to have a bit of a bloody put our dirty fingers all over a lovely 3500 that's been refurbished. Oh.
No, that was our 4000 that's been refurbished.
Oh, was it 4000?
Yeah. So the 4000 was a 3500 was the so that's still their current model. We got to go through that. There's one for sale in there which we were on, which is just such a good boat. Like it really is. We've talked about it so many times on this podcast in terms of bang for buck. Launch of that size, it's hard to go past. We love that Makaira. That's the only other one that we can't
wait to get on that Makaira too. One day
we haven't got up close and personal with them yet, so we're looking forward to that to really to compare. I suppose.
Just gotta let Charles know. You'll love this on the podcast. Chicken soup on the stove. Just give it a bit of a heat up and season, salt and pepper. What a good partner, eh?
Look at you go, man. Hey. As you can
how long we got to go? Gosh, ages.
Yeah.
we haven't even started.
As you can see, we don't edit this podcast at all. It's just whatever we say comes straight out. So, Christian talking about his dinner there. Hope that's not making you too hungry at home. We do a cooking podcast. Maybe that could be more popular than the boating one.
Well, Elise, who actually I've taken out fishing quite a few times for kingies, she was like, "Oh, how long you got to go?" And I'm like, "Oh, quite a while. We've only just started talking shit." And she's like, "Oh, buggy, I'm off now."
Yeah, waiting for us to be done is it's not a wise move. But
No,
anyway, we got to look at 4,000, so it's fully refurbed. So that was a great model. That was their first step into that launch space, I suppose, with Rayglass boats.
yeah,
And
Elise. She's like, Elise is like,
hey,
"Kingies on!"
Kingy's on. She's loving it. Least,
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
yeah, no, good. She's bloody had a whole lot of fun with her down. Where were we that time we caught all those kingies?
Oh, Kingy Peru sound.
Kenny Peru
Yeah,
Sound
Kingy Peru
and
sound. Marlborough
Marlborough
Sound.
Sounds. We had a fantastic day getting some kingies down there on Christian's old boat. I think we've got probably some old photos on our Instagram if you want to go check that
Probably
out.
should put those up, eh? That were pretty cool, man.
Yeah, they were cool. We'll do that. And so it was cool to see that refurbed Rayglass though. Those 4,000, they're a beautiful boat and just immaculate the work they do. That Tamaki Marine Park, as you mentioned, it's got everything and it doesn't have the crowds of Westhaven and stuff though. So I'd certainly, if I had a launch and I was going to get stuff done, that's where I'd be heading.
It's if we're a few 100,000 off, off that.
Yeah, we are a few thousand off. I made a real idiot of myself. I don't know if I can go back there. Right at the end of the video, we'll talk about the powerboat training in a second, but right at the end, after we've been out on the water, Andrew said, "Oh, mate, do you mind?" Because I had the drone. He said, "Mate, do you mind filming a bit of a promotional clip?" And he parked his boat because I'm trying to think of the company. It's the company that painted his boat.
You carry on. I'll look it up in my photos.
You find it out. We'll come back. We'll give them a shout out because they were great. They've painted his orange training boat. And if you know Andrew from Powerboat Training, and you should know by now after our last podcast, they fully refurbed that little atomic. So has done a fantastic job. He wanted us to film a bit of a clip to put them on his Instagram. So I whacked the drone up, and it was bloody windy, as you can see from the video.
Mm-hmm.
And well, let's just say I got it wrong, and there's a big shed which obviously the boats are inside, and a gust of wind came. Gloss Boats is the name of the company. Gloss Boat Marine Specialist. There we go. Anyway, the gust of wind got the drone and pushed it right into the side of their corrugated iron building, about 5 stories up. Now, obviously the propellers hit this aluminium wall, and no shit, it sounded like someone was firing a semi-automatic weapon. Everyone bloody dived for cover, and this drone fell out of the sky, and it was so embarrassing. Like, you can imagine a whole workyard full of tradies. Here's me, a skinny little teacher, bloody, and this bloody thing drops, and everyone looks over, and I'm just like, oh,
skimming on the ground,
fizzing away, and I was like, oh no. Good news is we managed to get it going again, so that the drone lives to fight another day.
Whatever that drone is, say the model, because it fell 5 stories upside down and still goes. Okay, it's got a bit of damage, but it still fucking goes.
Yeah, DJI, just a little baby Mavic, I think it's called. So
whatever, like $500 or $700 or something.
Yeah,
epic.
Anyway, we've teased it enough. Then we went out with Andrew from Powerboat Training on his little atomics, and man, I'll hand it over to you, bro, because what you didn't really know what to expect. I grabbed you off the plane. We went straight into it.
I literally fly into Auckland, and Jake's there, and is in the Highlander to pick me up, and he goes, "Oh, I've got a surprise for you. We've managed to chat to Andrew, and we're catching up, and we're going to have a challenge." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we're going to do some boat handling, like tight quarters boat handling," and I'm like, "Eh?" And you're like, yeah, I've arranged this. And so we drive to the Tamaki Marine Park, and we're there. We meet Andrew, the captain, and he goes, "Yeah, I've just had my boat refurbished or refinished, and the paint job's mint, blah 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 blah, and we're going to do some low speed docking and all that sort of challenges. And I'll be the judge, and whoever wins buys the other one. Oh, the loser buys the other one a bottle of rum." And
which, by the way, I'm still waiting for.
Yeah, I didn't win. And I, at that stage, was pretty nervous.
You were nervous, all right. You were very quiet.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm going to be in someone else's boat. doing all this like wind against tide sort of maneuvering, low speed, which I'm probably like the average Joe. I don't practice that. You sort of bumble your way through, and it was challenging. Great, like it's taught me heaps, man. Like what he taught us in, gosh, what do you reckon? A couple of hours, an hour?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Was just amazing. And like, I'll take that away and practice that with Chels. So we'll both have a bit of a
yeah.
practice on that there. But
So,
we were doing before I go set the scene, right? We've got a
yeah, I was
what, a
gonna say, set the scene.
$700,000 ray glass,
Yep,
one side. Yep, just refurbished, about to go to its back to its owner. Just finished. And then you've got a gap of about 8 meters, 10 meters, I don't know, 8 meters.
I'd say
And then you've
closer
got
to
a,
8.
yeah. And then you've got this, the ray glass, but the rib version, like the 9 meter rib, which is probably 400,000,
Yep,
give or take. And you've got to slot this boat. You've got 30 knot gusts on and off, just,
it was
and the Tamaki,
honking that wind.
oh yeah. And then you've got this tide that was just screaming in one direction. And he's like, oh, we're just gonna like put this in here, side on, and just like this here. And he shows us, and he does it so effortlessly. And oh, here it's your turn, and I'm judging you. And you're like, oh, you bastard.
I'd also like to jump in here because before we did the boat park, and he took us to like a buoy that was in the harbour and got us to
Yeah,
practice there, which was a wise move from him before we went, and stammered our way between the expensive stuff. And there was a real, I don't know if God had it in for me, but every
oh,
time, every time
so
you got
true.
behind the helm, it was a
It's also
bloody
like
wind dropped
15 knots, eh?
away. Yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe 15 if you're lucky. Every
Oh,
time I
ouch.
got behind the helm, we got
Yeah, it
these
was.
howling winds that were swirling, bloody
Yep.
rain driving in.
Yep.
It was disgusting. So I mean, not only did I win, which because we had 3 challenges, I won 2 of them. And again, if you want to see all the action, please go over to our YouTube channel, Unable Seaman. There's a full video there, 15
You've made a
minutes
video,
of the
eh?
train. Made the video. Christian's just seen the trailer just before we went live. The
Oh, it's
trailer's
pretty choice,
at
man.
our
I like
Instagram.
not to blow your trumpet, Jake, but you're getting pretty good at editing, eh, bro?
Oh, cheers, bro! Look, it's the beauty with editing that was easy to edit because there was so much quality from Andrew.
Oh, what
The
about me? Come on.
Well, yeah, I had to edit. That's where I earned my money editing, making
What
you
a prick.
presentable.
Fuck off.
But what I love about Andrew, bro, and I'm sure you'd agree, is like boating. A lot of boaters are know-it-alls, and
Oh, yeah.
and so you end up not learning. You end up going into your shell or being embarrassed or whatever. Whereas he's so warm, he's so friendly, he great sense of humor. He like in the clip there, he tries a skill, he gets it wrong. He's laughing at himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
yeah,
It was pretty
he
tough,
just
tough conditions, eh?
it was tricky for him. It doesn't matter who you were, you'd be struggling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just such good skills. He talked about like these Coast Guard courses, which and he to be fair, he's pretty blunt. Like they don't teach you those practical skills, and we talked about this a little bit with him when we interviewed him.
Yeah.
So I won't rehash it too much. But backing out of
It's
a boat ramp, coming into a dock, slowing the boat down, understanding the wind and tide and the
well.
effect it has on your boat.
Let's go back to what those courses are. Those courses are theory. Like, what does this buoy mean? What does that buoy mean?
Yeah,
There's nothing where you actually jump in your boat and actually try to hold it on the spot with wind against tide in a spot in it, like in a scenario where you might have a man overboard or you might have to get someone on and off the boat in a tricky situation. There's
yeah,
none of that in those Coast Guard ones. And like, it's all very well knowing what side of a buoy to be on and where a rock is. But if you can't handle your boat at low speed, you're probably going to do more damage.
that's right. Because exactly. I mean, knowing that boys and stuff is important. We don't want to sort of undersell that, but everyone launches their boat. Everyone comes into a jetty. Everyone is
Yeah.
affected by wind, tide, and these sorts of things. So just understanding like the pivot point of the boat.
Yep.
Um,
How to move it, maneuver it so
yeah,
you come alongside a
yeah,
jetty and not like harsh where you just smack into it and hope for the best.
yeah. Not just leaning into the throttles at full steam.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was meant. And I understand. So when we interviewed him last time, that's only one. We only touched on with him on that day or that morning with like one aspect of it.
Yeah.
Then he goes on to do other stuff like learn about reading the weather and what it looks like when you actually come around a head, and how it looks like when the wind's coming from a certain direction and the tide's coming from a certain direction, and how to handle a boat in those
Yeah.
sort of weather conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. We as Christians here, we remained in the river. Again, conditions probably prevented too much more than that. But it's actually it was really good. You got to learn those basic skills in a place like that before we go,
Oh,
further out. So,
and
and he taught us how to dock, and then we got some fantastic drone footage. There was this one shot. Christian talked about these two boats. There was two on the other side of the jetty which we went
that was
around, which were closer
ridiculous.
together. They were. I had the drone and I was looking down, and I genuinely thought, and again, this footage is on that video, so go take a look. There, I thought this boat will not fit in that gap. It just will not fit in that gap
What do you
physically.
reckon? 100 mils maybe, front and rear,
Well,
max?
yeah, max. And he slid it in one take with wind, tide, you name it, and he just did it in one hit. And
So
again,
calm.
he was so calm, and he's not, like I say, he's not a dick about it. He's not just like doing it. Yeah, look at me, I'm hot shit. He just has those skills,
But he
and
was talking us through, he was passing on that knowledge
that's
to us. And so
absolutely,
he taught us like, how to use a rope to spring off the dock, and how to use a rope to sort of use it to help you with your engine in a certain position, to back onto one smoothly, and
yeah,
just
yeah,
the way he communicates made you feel so confident. So as I was coming in doing my thing, he'd be like, "Oh, yep, starboard down, port down, throttle on, throttle off, reverse," and it was just brilliant. You came in, you're like, "Okay, I now can do that and feel that and understand what happens when that does that and move into the position."
yeah,
And he's right
yeah.
there the whole time, just in case you
He's
bull
right
trip.
there. He really is. So we're absolutely great skills, and like I say, the video's there. Go check it out. We would love to do more with him. I was thinking maybe the next challenge should be like on a bigger boat, and one of us has the chart and a navigation, and
Yeah.
we can't see where we're going, and the other person's on the helm,
Oh,
and
dangerous.
we have to relay the information to plot a course to get to a destination.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
but at some point on that way, I'd put a mistake in and see if you, as the helmsman, pick up on a mistake, for
Oh, yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So I think we could have a lot of fun with that too. So that might be something we do upcoming. Obviously, Andrew's time and there's an expense with fuel and stuff with that. So
Yeah. Cool.
that's maybe a bit of a pipe dream at this stage, but we'd love to do that on that Rayglass 3500 if anyone's listening from Rayglass or that
Oh,
new
yeah.
3000.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a promotional video.
Oh,
Us
actually,
sticking it on the rocks.
there,
The first
well,
Rayglass to sink.
what about, because we went to the Reglas factory and they had a couple of those V10s hanging off those protectors.
Oh man, how cool was
How
that?
many V10s did we see in that trip, eh? Oh,
Oh,
God. Like
they're a
6?
cool engine. Yeah,
They are
yeah,
big.
they are big. They make a lot of sense though. I mean, have two of those on your boat, and you're
They
way
make,
bigger than it. Yeah.
oh, yeah, having a V10, two outboard V10s on the back of my boat, that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
Yeah,
it makes a lot
yeah.
of sense in a big stern drive. Big
Okay.
heavy thing. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense.
I'll put on the back of Juanita then, two of those.
Yeah, well, there you go. See if Rayglass has got one lying round.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we will release that video too. We weren't allowed to film that new boat for obvious reasons. They're going to do a proper launch at some point, which we respect that. We're happy to talk about it though, because again, if you go to the showroom, you can actually see it. So they are letting people have a look at it, but just not, on social media or that sort of thing. So we'll respect that. But great, really made us feel welcome. Great to see how it all fits together. They've got plenty of work on. Really exciting times for them. They're building chase boats for the America's Cup teams. Hence the
Yeah.
big horsepower on those boats we just mentioned, and like have to be built pretty tough. I mean, those yachts are going 100k now, and these boats need to keep up. So it's 100k all day, consistently day after day.
Nuts, eh?
So
When you think about that. That's
yeah,
and those 9-meter ribs just hooning along at like 50 knots.
yeah, and it stands to reason that my Rayglass, which is old, 2000 or whatever it is, felt pretty good in the water that day, because that DNA is, they built a good boat. They're solid. And
In all fairness, we give your boat a little bit of shit for like having a slow cruising speed, but that's 20 knots is still 22 knots is still like 40 k's an hour, which is
yeah,
respectable. That's very
yeah,
respectable. It's just that
yeah.
it's so comfortable, it feels slow.
I think that's it, bro. I think it's so undramatic. I've thought about that before because I've gone out with other boats that, little cabin ones or whatever, and they're
Pouncing
keeping
around.
alongside of us, but they're bouncing around and everyone's getting wet, and they feel like they're on a roller coaster. Whereas I'm there, barely spilling my coffee.
Well, I think I poured a champagne while we were there, and I was like, oh, this is easy,
That's right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
finest, what do you call it, crystal that you had.
yeah, exactly.
Out of
So anyway,
perspex.
that was a fantastic day. Most of you will know who Andrew from Powerboat Training is. Go check him out. And if you've got a boat, he'll train you on his boat, or you can do it on your own boats. If you've bought your own boat, he's more than happy to meet you and do that. I'm not sure of pricing because it's probably dependent on where you are and what you want. But
Yeah. How
definitely check
long?
him
What sort
out.
of level of training?
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty
big
keen
of
to
it.
ask Chelsea for one of those courses for like a birthday present or something, because I reckon it'd be real cool to do the day,
Yeah,
2 days,
bro.
or whatever it is. So
Yeah,
I'd imagine
yeah.
you'd
I
be
mean,
pretty
we
keen, Jane.
absolutely, bro. Like we were lucky. We got that little taster for free, so we're forever grateful for Andrew, and I hope
Well,
that anyone listening goes over. If we can flick him at least one customer,
yeah, yeah.
it pays for his gas at least. So
Oh, mate, he
that's
just loves our company. We're such cool cats.
Well, he loved my company. Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
invited me back.
ouch.
Anyway, we'll move along
Yeah.
to our last piece of business, I suppose, which is KP Marine. Now you sort of talked on it earlier. You met Isabel from Surtees, and again, Isabel,
hmm
if you're listening, kia ora, hope you're going well.
And
Um,
she's partway through a build for her own boat. Her and
yes,
one of her
tell us about
mates.
that.
Oh, she's building the big one, the 800.
So that's
So,
the same as what Meg and Scott have, eh?
yeah, that's their biggest boat they
Yeah.
make, which is a bit of a
Yes.
weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we're having a bit of a chin wag, and I was asking her to rip into you. And she's so nice. She
Well,
said,
she's a
no, no.
professional Christian.
Oh yeah, well I'm still working on that. But she's like, I can't rip into a person that I don't even know yet. I said, yeah, you can. It's Jake. Just hook into him. But we got heaps of content from that for you to plug up and do whatever to eventually.
Yep. Yep.
You're like, yep.
You've
I don't think I
Yep.
want to
No,
share
I
any of
do.
that.
No, I do want to share. It's there's been so much happening, and I've got a job as well.
Yeah, you got a
But
job and you're moving.
and we're moving house too. So yeah, it's all on here. But just quickly about that boat. So she's building the 800, but they haven't sourced an engine. Was that?
No, they haven't sourced an engine yet. So, um, she's mad. She's put lots of money into a boat and hasn't quite worked out how she's going to fund the engine. So if there's any engine manufacturers out there that want to, whack a pony on the back of a mint Surtees 800, get in
What
touch
you're
with.
talking at least 250,
I
300
imagine,
horsepower.
yeah, or twin 150s. I don't know. Beggars can't be choosers.
What
Shit.
about that 100 thing you bought off Facebook Market? Why don't you sling her that?
Yeah. I reckon she might want 3 of those.
Yeah. Well, how much did you say? $1,200. What's that times 3? Yeah.
Yeah, bugger all. Oh,
There we
mind
go.
you, she needs a bit of head work, eh? So minor detail.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
Do a part of it. But no, it was
So,
great to meet you. And you had that great day there. They had obviously
oh,
all the Surtees models there. Meg and Scott were there.
it was mint weather, eh? They had quite a few boats. So they had obviously Surtees, and they also had Stabicraft there. Had a couple of cool small Stabicrafts. Kilwa was doing a promotion. If you buy whatever amount of gear off them, you go in the draw to win one of those little FC. I can't remember if it was a tiller steer or a side steer, but that looked pretty mean. Like it would be
Nice.
a soft baiting weapon, eh? Like
Yeah.
a lure fishing weapon.
Yeah.
So that was pretty mean. Those Stavies looked sick. The Surtees, well, they had all of them there. They looked sick too.
Yeah. Now, we might have the opportunity to, at the end of the last podcast, or was it the one before that, you said you wanted to look at some little boats. Do a
Yeah,
a
I'm
little
really
boat
keen to
special.
take you out in a little boat because I know you're
Yeah.
like, I don't like little boats anymore. I'm too snobby. And I'm
Well,
like, fuck off, Jake, you snobby bastard. I'm going to take you out in a quality little boat. So sort of put the
well,
feelers out there. And
yeah. And Surtees said they're keen, so we just need
yeah.
to put it together. And I don't want to preempt. They've said they're keen, so I hope I'm not preempting it too much here. It'd be great if we can stitch that together.
So
And I
yeah,
think it's
Isabel, hook us up,
interesting because because you've just bought a small boat, so the one we're getting would be about the same size.
Yeah,
And
but
what
modern.
I'm keen exactly, and that's the thing I'm about to hit on is I'm keen to see what the technology differences you notice. Obviously, outboards electronic, but that in actual like fishability, usability, like
Comfort, ride, blah blah
comfort,
blah.
those sorts of things. I mean, we won't. We can probably preempt the decision or the findings now, which will be
Oh,
that it'll be
ouch! Don't
heaps of
dish
technology.
Juanita too much. Come on. Juanita is a fine vessel built by Benito in 1980 something. Like, she
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Oh, look, and the Peugeot of the sea does well for what it is, but
12 grand,
it's
12 grand. Well,
and,
plus
and
or
that's
minus
it.
another 3, 4. Yeah.
And so I guess my other side of it too is that I don't know the retail of this new Certes. So again, we maybe preempting things here, but I'm interested. So I paid 55 for my ray glass, 6.5 meter.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
$55,000. Obviously older.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm
Second
keen
hand.
to second hand, all the rest of it. So I'm keen to know if that was my budget, um, would I go towards what I did,
Yep.
or what do you get from buying a smaller boat that's obviously newer in the technology? And
Well,
I'm really
also,
keen to
let's.
see that.
What the other thing, like, obviously you're not comparing apples with apples, but
You're not, but
but
yeah,
the Surtees would be so much easier to tow. Like, you could probably tow it with a Toyota Corolla, right? Whereas
yeah,
your Ray Glass is a behemoth to tow.
yeah,
Like, you've got a
yeah,
3.6 liter V6 Toyota
yeah,
Highlander towing it,
yeah.
and it drinks when it's towing it, right?
Oh
Whereas
yeah,
you're towing one of those things, like the Surtees, I think it's a 495 or something they call that model now. That that wouldn't be at all challenging. Single man launching, stuff like that, which a
yeah,
lot of people would
absolutely.
be like, that really appeals to me.
Yeah, I think again without preempting it too much, because otherwise we won't have. Why even bother go filming the video without having the
Well,
findings? But I think you're right. It's
there's always fun, bro, going out and just
yeah, of
hammering around
course.
on a little boat.
Yeah,
I'm
but I think you're
excited.
right. Going by yourself, obviously the fishability, it'll kick the ray glass for fishability. I can tell you right now, I've been able to fish around it, um, and just that ability to go by yourself. I'm always amazed at some of those jet skis now. Like, people are paying 30 grand for those
Ooh,
Fish Pro top of the line jet skis. And don't get me
Jesus.
wrong, I've got a jet ski. They're cool, but I'd sit in and pay 30 grand for mine.
And
And it's like,
they're not
uh,
a warm, dry ride.
they're not a warm, dry ride. Yeah, they've got some cool features, don't get me wrong, but like, they're not a boat. They'll never be a boat. They'll never have the fishability of a boat or
Nah.
the comfort of a boat or that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really keen to jump on one of those, have a bit
And
of a play.
where will it be? Will it be down here in Wellington? Will it be up there with you? Will it be in the Bay of Islands? Rotorua? On the lakes even, maybe?
Yeah, well, I mean, wherever suits them. We're sort of slaves to whatever they want, but I would love to maybe even meet you halfway and do like the mount, go out jigging on it
That'd be cool. I'd be
at
keen. Yeah, let's
Mare
just,
Island.
let's go to Mere. Bugger it. Mo
Yeah,
Titty. Do what Steve
yeah,
used to do.
that's
Take
right.
old, you know, but
That's
probably a bit
right.
more comfort. But
And
so
then,
going back to KP Marine, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
Marine
yeah.
Expo was epic. Mig and Scott were there from Fishing and Adventure. You got to have a good catch up with him. He's an old schoolmate. Gave you a call, eh, bro? And it was
He
just
did.
pumping in there so loud we could barely hear you. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Um, Bought some stuff for the boat. So obviously you buy a second-hand boat and not everything's mint. So I needed new throttle cables. So I went in there and I just took my old ones in and the man there, one of the owners, he was like happy to help you out. And so I even got a few videos of showing you how to choose throttle cables and the pros and cons of those there.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked. I paid for some good quality ones, so can't wait to get those in. And it looks like a pretty straightforward job. So
Famous last words.
yeah, famous last words. I got a new aerial because the old one I've knocked off already. So you're doing pretty well. And yeah, like you, I've got some electrics to put in too, like what do you call it, voltmeter, USB plugs, and a cigarette lighter.
Yes, I do need to do that on my one. Christian, funny
Oh,
story.
tell him
Yeah,
what I
so
did. So I come and see you and Classic Jake.
I stitched Christian up. So years ago, to give you a bit of a background, years ago when I had the Bayliner and I was doing it up, and I said to Christian, "Hey, bro, come for a wakeboard." He drove all the way over from Rotorua with his wakeboard and a big grin on his face, hot day. And I said, "Hey, mate, just
I
before
was
we
there at
go,
7:30 in the morning.
I've got a 5 minute job for you." Well, the 5 minute job was wiring in the whole stereo system in the Bayliner
And the second battery on a
and the second
VSR.
and the second battery on the VSR. So about 4 or 5 hours worth of work.
Yep.
as well as putting decals on the hull, which
Yep.
I had two groups of friends. One
Don't
did the
even
port side, one did the
knock
starboard
us on that.
side.
Don't even knock us.
Let's just say my mate Tim, who worked at Tristram Marine, got the decals on the port side. Perfect.
Mint.
The decals on the starboard side were done by Christian and my mate Stu, who used a piece of wood to get it on.
Hey,
And
I'd already done 4 hours of wiring. Thank you very much. I think you can shut up.
oh, mate, it was more crooked than buddy.
Yeah.
Ram Raiders.
Tomb Raiders, Ram Raiders.
Ram Raiders.
More crooked. Okay, I was going to say
quicker
Freddie
than a ram.
Mercury.
Yeah. I thought about that, but I didn't want to go there.
Okay, I did. Okay, my bad.
So anyway, while he was up, I said, because a few weeks ago I bought a little fridge. Burns Co had a great sale. Bought a little fridge for the Ray Glass for overnighting and stuff, but didn't have a 12-volt socket available. Pulled the back of the wiring off, behind the steering wheel. There's your whole wiring setup. Took one look and thought, no way in hell am I getting involved with that spider web. I'm not all that mechanically minded, I'll happily admit.
And you also are not too minded when it comes to maintenance, which is a key thing that I dig you on.
So I took one look, sent a video to Christian and said, mate, no way. So anyway,
he was just warming me up. He was like, basically what he was saying is, I've had a token look at this here. I've taken out 3 screws and I've gone, he's going to be here in a couple of days. He can sort it out.
Oh, wait. So Christian had to wire in this plug. So it was a whole new switch panel because the old one was buggered.
Yep.
We had to figure out the wire. Once you'd sort of figured it out, it made sense-ish.
Yep. Took out some shonky donkey wiring that would have been done.
Yeah, in Ray Glass's defence, I do not think some of that was factory. I think some of
that was not factory. Nah.
Bit of a poke round in there. And Christian managed to figure it out. Put a new panel in. Put a 12-volt socket in, and set it up for me so that when I put other accessories in, it's pretty much paint by numbers that I just hook the positive into the panel and the negative onto the bus bar, and pretty straightforward, which I'm very grateful for. It was a 5-minute job that turned into about a 2.5-hour job, freezing our ass off out there. But
yep.
Never mind. That's what friends are for.
Beers. Oh yeah, no, it was good. Loved it. So you'll put a bit of these photos up there, having a laugh.
Yeah. Photos of Christian hard at it. So
Chelsea just cracked up. She's like, "Oh yeah, classic Jake, stitch up."
Yep. Yeah. So when I come down, you'll have some nasty job lined up for me, I'm sure.
Like what? Like my boat's a mint.
Looking at it.
Looking at it. Oh.
Going out in it.
Oh, burn. I reckon you're going to be like pleasantly surprised because you're going to be, or you've been under promising, right? So I'm hoping to over deliver a little bit.
Yeah.
The ride's not going to be a Ray Glass ride, but in terms of what I want it to do, it's going to be a little honey, I reckon.
Yeah.
And just picture sitting back on the bench seat, legs up, and you're like, mate, just take me out there and start that engine. And I'm like, it's already started. It's already going.
Yeah.
We're just cruising. We're cruising at 30 knots, which yours doesn't even dream of getting to.
I'm looking forward to it. I will admit, you said nice things about my boat when I came out on it, so it's only fair that I come and try very hard to find something nice to say about yours.
It actually doesn't look too bad from the inside.
It doesn't look too bad? Okay, well, we'll stay tuned. When we get together, we will absolutely put something together for you there, and the photos of the actual boat will be on our Instagram page at Unable Seaman. Moving on, I'm very conscious of the time here. Wouldn't be a podcast without our dog of the month. Now, I want to talk you through this one very quickly. I've just sent it to you on Messenger there, so click on the link.
Are we doing one each, or you?
Christian, if you've got one there, that would be great. Now, I want to just do a quick shout out too. To a listener who actually plugged one who picked one, for us, and bugger me, I went back to get it, and the listing had expired. So
no way.
So he reached out on our Instagram at Unable Seaman, which we love people reaching out when they do. Jacob plus Maya, I think how you say his name. By the way, bro, he's actually just bought a Bonito as well.
Oh, well, because it's a bloody good steed, mate.
Yeah, it's not that rubbish model you've got, though. It's actually quite a nice one. It's a 585 Suzuki 4-stroke on the back. Really nice blue hull. And look, got the full wraparound canopy.
Oh, wraparound canopy.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. Because remember there was one on Trade Me that I was looking at one, and I was like, bro, that looks like a good buy.
So he's really
holding
happy
up to
with
the
that.
screen. Let me go.
Yeah, I was holding up to the screen just so you could see it. I won't bother
Oh,
sharing that
yes, yes,
to
yes, yes,
Instagram
yes.
because it's not our boat to share.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
fair enough. Yeah.
but he sent through a dog. And again, I'm so sorry, Jacob. By the time I went to show it, the bugger had pulled it. So I'm
Well,
assuming it sank.
or it had been sold.
No, I'd say it probably sank. Looking at it, it was a real piece of shit. Anyway, this one I've sent through to you. Okay, I want to talk you through it. So first of all, click on the link, and I want you to look at the first picture. Don't look at any other pictures.
Well, the
Trade
only
me
thing you've sent
listing.
me is a Riverside link, like a link to this podcast platform. I
Did
haven't
I?
seen anything. Yeah, I haven't got anything from you.
Oh, sorry, I've sent that again. Okay, I need to copy, and I need to paste this in here. Bit of admin. Sorry, everybody.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, you know, we
so
got our
I want you to click on the link. I want you to look at that first picture. Tell me what comes to mind. What do those?
waiting with bated breath.
You're waiting with bated breath. Now I'll
Oh,
talk.
holy jeez!
Now,
Oh,
it's
no.
those windows remind you of someone's kitchen, don't they? Okay, now before you look at the
Wow.
next picture, don't look at the next picture. Okay, what this guy has made. So he's trying to sell this boat. It's on Trade Me. He wants
How much? How much?
he wants 6,500. I'm assuming that's New Zealand dollars.
Please tell
Okay,
me it comes with a motor.
I don't know about the
He
engine. That's not
describes
what
it
I'm worried
as
about.
Saunders launch 8 meters plus half meter of transom.
Plus half a meter of transom. You get a transom. Buy a boat, get a free transom. I would have thought that would come with it. Don't know if Ray Glass is, adding on a transom as part of the optional extras, but this guy is.
What is
Anyway.
he trying to do when he's comparing the two boats there?
Oh, dude, I was going to say, don't do that. So, what he's done is he's put the picture of his one up as the main picture, as he should, which
Yeah.
has got all that can be described as some bloody kitchen, like sliding aluminium joinery for the hardtop.
Here's a good start.
Then
The outboard
what?
extension is tannalized ply, blah blah blah. The cabin is untreated pine and has
Oh,
deteriorated. What a great start!
no shit. It is. But what he's done, classic era of like what marketing 101, is the second picture is the sister ship. So there's obviously a design, and someone had bought the sister ship, which was really actually quite nice. It's not my
Yeah,
cup of tea, but it's like a pilot house type trailer
thing.
boat, like beautifully finished with a late model 4-stroke. So what he's done is accentuated the fact that his one is a piece of shit.
He really
Why would
has,
you
eh?
put Why would you put a nicer boat in your listing? All you're doing is highlighting it. It's rubbish, this thing. And as you say, untreated ply.
Oh Jesus!
Why would you use untreated ply in your boat?
Wow, unless it's in an interior area that's never going to get any water, or
Even then.
if it's structural ply, right, like floors, and you sandwich it in fiberglass or epoxy, that's sort of fine. Sort of.
Yeah, even then, you got to be so careful. And so
Yeah.
that's why I love it. Well, A, it was ugly as hell, and B, just what an idiot putting a picture of like the finish.
It doesn't look anything like the other one,
It
too,
doesn't
really.
look anything like it. He calls it
Actually,
a sister ship. It doesn't even have a raised shear line. One's got a raised shear line, one doesn't. One's got aluminium joinery and untreated ply, and one's actually seaworthy. I just
so
can't believe that he
picture
would
two
make the
is sister ship.
comparison.
It is not the sister ship
It's
at
not the
all.
sister ship at all. It's
Two completely different boats. That's like me saying, "Oh yeah, my Bonito, yeah, it's a sister ship to the Rayglass 2150."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was quite funny. That's it. So again, I'll post both of those photos. At Unable Seaman, that's our dog of the month. I see you've put one through there too, bro, and I'll just click on this link. Talk us through this.
So what I've sent you is I couldn't send you
Oh my god.
I couldn't send you the link, but what I've found is a mint alley boat. It looks like a Parker Craft, which someone has made not too sure, like a
Like a mini hardtop.
mini hardtop. But would you describe it as like a hothouse on top, like a Perspex hothouse?
So of the Parker Craft, it's a 14-foot Parker Craft hull. I think you're right, which is like essentially a big dinghy.
Yep.
And
And then
someone
it's got
thought,
like a tin box or tin lid that they've just like slapped on the front
well,
to go between the hardtop and the
which looks like the flap of a box you'd put like
over
outdoor
your
furniture
toolbox, in the
cushions
back of
in,
you.
or exactly, something like that. And then they put this fucking ugly glass window that it does look like an observatory or something on top. What is it with people putting ugly hard tops on boats? We did a post on our Instagram a couple of weeks ago of a couple of Someone had used the ute canopy as a hard
I
top.
love that one. That was min, man. It's actually quite a clever idea because the back, which is now the front, opens up and you can.
It is definitely not a clever idea. If you want to see what we're talking about, go to Instagram. And then you picked the other one, which was this little 13-foot thing with a bloody hardtop that was just as high. And if you got that in the wind, it would roll.
Brilliant day. I've actually got another one. I'm a bit nervous about doing this dog of the day because or dog of the month because the guys bought it from. Oh, if I say this, they'll probably know. Bugger it, whatever. So he's bought it from down at Seaview Marina it is Seaview Marina in Wellington. The guys bought it. It's quite a big boat, 60-footer. Motored it around the bottom of the North Island. So from Seaview, you go out of Wellington Harbour, you turn right, and you head around past Karori Lighthouse, which is the Karori Rip. Pretty challenging.
Notorious. Yeah.
The Cook Strait. Anyway, apparently he got such a fright. He's like, holy fuck. I need to take some of this thing that's been planted on top of this boat and make it lower so it doesn't roll this bloody soup out of my pot when I'm cooking.
Oh no! Have you got a picture?
I'll get one. It's the guy said he's going to be working on it for the next year. And guess how he said he's taking this extension, this second story extension off.
Chainsaw?
Yep.
Oh no. Don't buy a boat and attack it with a chainsaw. What the hell are you thinking?
Brilliant.
Chainsaws are for chopping firewood, and that's about it. Not for boat building.
Yeah. In all fairness, I did use a chainsaw in the Radicat to trim some stuff out. But anyway, that's minor detail, different story.
But hang on. So his solution, he took the boat out to the Cook Strait. It rode like a bucket of shit, and probably one of the roughest parts of water in New Zealand.
Yep.
And his solution is not to, sell it or to just accept that it was a rough day. It's to chop bits of it out with a chainsaw.
Because it's been a liverboard for so many years. Right, this old fella apparently sold it to him.
So it's a houseboat.
Well, yeah, it was. And so, but it actually was a really nice looking launch before this second story extension was put on it. It was actually quite nice. And then this extension's been plopped on it. Full 7-foot bloody, head clearance with louver doors that open.
Oh my God. Was he building a villa or a boat?
Yeah. Questionable. But hey, I am actually looking forward to, because Piper and I, we bike down. I take her on the little back of the bike, and we bike down to the marina because it's a Mana Marina on the hard right now, and it's really cool to see the progress on all these boats that are worked on.
Yeah, some sharpening his chainsaw blade and.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Gold,
bro. Anyway, hey, look, it's hope everyone at home's enjoyed that episode. Heaps to cover. I can't stress enough. Head over to YouTube and watch that video with us doing the powerboat training. Andrew was an absolute legend. We cannot thank him enough. Also, listen to our previous podcast where we interview Andrew. He got a really interesting story and some really interesting opinions on things. It was actually one of our most popular episodes. Heaps of content. Yeah, it was, and it was cool. That, and obviously the one with Meg Rumney was another good one. Anyone we've got guests, Flynn Jack was another one, really popular. People seem to like us when we interview people, which is cool. We've got interviews coming up. Ari's the next one we want to pin down.
Hold up. So they don't actually like it when it's just you and me?
No. It's a resounding failure, actually, when it's just you and I prattling on about people chainsawing their boats.
Oh, okay.
Surprising, I know. Surprising.
So actually, this why are we even wasting our time on this podcast? Because no one's going to listen to it.
Just wasted 58 minutes of everyone's life. But yeah, check that video out. Again, reach out to us. This will be our last podcast for 2023. We'll hit one in the new year. We're both going to be out there actually doing the boating. So keep an eye on our Instagram, though. We'll be doing little stories of what we're up to, and we'll catch in the new year where we will talk about our summer. I will do my best not to poo in any bays that Christian remind me of a particular episode where I was crowing about the new toilet on my boat and was told in no uncertain terms that is deeply illegal, highly illegal. So
just in the areas that you were doing it, there are restrictions, inshore restrictions. Yep.
Yeah, there is, and I've learnt very quickly on air about those. So it was pretty embarrassing for me.
It's pretty nice talk, though.
Have a great summer out there. If you want to reach out to us at UnableSeaman on Instagram, you can also email us at unableseaman.gmail.com or whatever you say. I think that's it.
Put it on, bro. Put it on,
I'll
put it at the bottom of
the thing. Yeah, put it at the bottom of it.
You can't get that wrong. You got to know our own email address.
Someone else will be getting some emails. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for this year. We'll be back next year. Christian, mate, I know you're going to have a fantastic summer. I'm going to have a fantastic summer. It cannot be any worse than last summer weather-wise. It looks pretty good. And the fish have been biting. We've got brand new boats. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, actually, and just a little reminder, who caught all the fish last time when we went out on your boat? When I went out on your boat for the first time.
Well, Jaden, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Jaden's rod caught the fish.
Christian caught a whole lot of fish on a bloody kid stick. We had all these nice gear, the brand new catch rod and everything that we've been using.
That's quite a nice rod too.
A beautiful rod. And he catches them on a frickin' kid stick. He got a
with
good
like 6 kilo mono using like slow jig techniques.
Yeah. You tinny bastard. You tinny bastard.
I loved it. And you were just getting so sour. It was brilliant. Every fish you were like, oh my God, let's just go back in.
Yeah, go in. I've had enough.
Yeah. Becky was loving it. She was like, yeah, put him in his place.
I was loving it. Anyway, team, we will see you next month. Keep an eye on our social media for the upcoming episodes. We'll see you later. Bye.
Akite.